Hello from Shalom Acres. You can see in front of me we've got the horns from our steer. So this little guy is actually, well, you can see the length of him. I don't know, it's probably from tip to horn part. It's probably close to a foot. This right here is actually the size of our one that we did last year, so he's quite a bit bigger as far as the horns. And what we decided we're going to do with these today is we decided we're going to go ahead and work on making a shofar. So the center part down here, because a little bit different than an antler. So an antler, for those of you that may or may not know, an antler is actually 1 year growth, and after a certain period of time it actually dies and then it falls off. Whereas our horn on a cow continues to grow for the life of the cow. So what we're going to attempt to do is we're going to boil this anywhere from 2.5 to 3.5 hours. Just keep it boiling. And what we're going to attempt to do after that is we're going to see if we can pull out all this internal material here. And if that all comes out, then we should be able to work on cutting the end, making a few other changes, and then hopefully we can have our own shofar here on the homestead. Trying to use all the animal, trying to use it for to make joyful noises also. So stay with us and we'll show you how we make it. Okay, so the first step is you need a pot, and then with your pot you just need to fill it up with water. You can see we're not real full, but we want to also make sure when we're refilling it to keep the boil continuously going, we'll backfill it in with hot water. So we're going to go ahead and turn the stove on and let it start to boil. We'll probably give an update, on the hours and look and see where we're at. One of the pieces we're going to be looking for is a separation down in here. I think there's a glare from the light, but we're going to be looking for a separation down here that's going to start telling us that it's ready. So here we go. Okay, so we are about an hour into it, and if you look, lens is kind of getting fogged up, but I'm trying to show right down in here, you're starting to seeing a little bit of separation. And that separation is going to be key for what allows us to pull that out. If last time we did this, it came all out as one big membrane, so I'll be curious to see how it comes out this time. But I'm expecting that to come out as one full piece. We'll give you another update here in about another hour. Thanks. Okay, we are about 2.5 hours into it, and you can really see down inside there, it looks like it's really starting to separate out quite a bit. So I'm going to give it another 15-20 minutes, and then I think we're going to go ahead and turn it off and see if we can't pull out that inner membrane. Okay, we're going to try at least to look and see where we're at. Last time I did this, I just poked right in there. It's definitely feeling soft. I'm trying to see if I can just spin it, see if it'll break off. That one's not quite getting it. Try this one here. I would assume since one's not making it that the other one would not either, but you never know. So we'll see here. Nope, just not popping out. Let me boil it back up for just a little bit longer. We'll see if we can get closer to that 3-hour point and see if that'll make the difference. Right now it just doesn't look like it's gonna come out. So we'll be back with you in about 30 minutes. Okay, so it's been another 30 minutes. We'll see what happens here. I gave it a good tug and it felt like it was coming. Oh, there we go. So this is, you can see the whole inside. It just created a whole new cavity. So now I'll put this over here in this box. And now we'll see if we can do the same to this one. Hopefully it'll work out just as well. And the interesting part is, you know, the outside here, it's actually getting really soft. So that's another part why I'm glad these came out, because we really want the outside to work as far as to hold or to get firm again. Oh, there we go. So it comes right out. You can see that. So tomorrow we'll have to do a little bit of finishing touches, but now we're just going to let this sit out in this box and pretty much go ahead and get firm again. And then tomorrow we'll show you kind of the next steps on what we do to turn it into a shofar. Stay with us. Thanks. Okay, so you can see it's been about 12 hours since we've taken the horns out of the water. They're back being nice and hard again. So this one here I haven't cleaned out yet. You can see inside there's just a little bit of debris on the outside. But I'll show you, I cleaned this one up already, and you can see how easy it cleaned up, and this is all the little bit of debris that was left. So it really did come out as one whole piece. So I'm going to clean up the other one. Oh, I'll show you the two simple tools I use for this. So I used a razor knife and just a normal, just another knife. The razor knife I use to go ahead and it's soft enough around here, and as long as you have a sharp knife, that you can trim this and make it flush and nice and flat. And then I just used the longer knife to kind of get down inside there where there was just a little bit of membrane left. So hopefully you can see that all. Definitely just a nice clean opening. The next part we're going to do is we're going to get a saw and we're going to cut it back in here, and then after that we're going to drill a hole, see if we can't make some sound. Stay with us. Shalom. Okay, so before we cut the actual tip down here, I just want to show and look at all the different scrapes and all the different things that are on here. And I guess what makes this horn so unique is, unlike the ones you buy and you see that, you wonder, you know, what kind of fights they got into or whatever. But in our particular case, since this was our cow one time got his head stuck in a cattle ring, so we'll always remember probably the few nicks or scrapes are from that cattle ring. And then we had another little Jersey bull that those two used to play back together, kind of pushing each other and hitting their horns. So this will be something that we'll have as a remembrance of our cow for years to come. And while there's no real big battle scars per se, as far as that, you know, big battles that he fought or anything like that, it'll just bring joy and happiness to our hearts as we think about him playing with his brother. We'll be back in a little bit. Like I said, I'll show cutting the end what that looks like. Okay, you can see now I just took a simple hacksaw and just cut this off. You can see about the area I'm looking at is about it covers about my thumbnail. That's about how thick I'm trying to make it, as far as the area that will eventually have the horn where you blow through. So I'm gonna go ahead and drill a small 1/8 inch pilot hole, and I'll be back and show you that in a second.
I got it.
There it is.
Mommy.
So we just we've made an 1/8 inch hole, and I've gone in this far, so about 1.25 to 1.5 inches, and I've just made it now to where there's an airway between the solid part of the horn and the big opening of the horn. So now I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit larger of a size, because I have it pretty well centered. A little bit larger of a size, and then after that I'll go ahead and take this and we'll hone it out a little bit and hopefully give ourselves a nice little mouthpiece. So I don't know if you can hear or not, but we've got a good airway now. I think I'm going to go one size larger also. Just feels like I'm not able to push enough air through there. So the final size I'm going to use is 3/16 of an inch. Okay. Now we're able to get good volume through there as far as air. And we're just going to use a simple countersink for the other part. So what I'm looking for here, I'm wanting to have still an area for our lips to actually kind of sit against that's a flat spot. And then I'll probably take a little sandpaper and round this down. But I'm really looking to keep ourselves a little bit of a flat spot here. So I'm going to go a little bit more. Starting to make a little sound. I'm not real good at blowing a shofar. Samantha is. Okay, I'm going to go get that sandpaper now and get around the edges here because it's kind of a little bit hard on my lips. Be back in a second with you. So that's the way it's supposed to sound. Obviously we still have quite a bit of work on our existing shofar, but what we've tried is, so we've got one of them drilled at a 5/32 hole, and we've got the other one drilled at a 7/32. So we're going to do a little more work on them, see what we can do to tweak them in. Not sure if it's just the size of the horn, but we do know someone that kind of does this a little bit more regular. So we're probably going to have to seek some, I'd say, a little more professional help. Thought we'd share us trying this. Hopefully in this particular case you have more success than we did on our homestead. Thanks. Shalom.